serious question that is in the mind of various people, be it non-Muslims or even people who are Muslims, the concept of God in Islam, which for some is unknown and for some it's unclear. So, what exactly is the concept of God in Islam?
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. And the first very question which we have is the concept of God in Islam. What is the concept of God in Islam? And the very first verse regarding this is from Surah Isra chapter number 17, verse number 22. وَلَا تَجْعَلْ مَعَ اللَّهِ إِلَهًا آخَرَ. And do not take any other object of worship other than Allah. And Allah is warning you. If you do so, فَتَقْعُودَ مَذْمُومًا مَخْذُولًا. You will be sitting in disgrace and destitution. And another verse regarding this is from Surah Ikhlas, chapter number 112, verse number 1 to 4. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. Say He is Allah, the one and only. Allahu Samad. Allah the Absolute, the Eternal. Lam yalid wa lam yulad. He begets not, nor is He begotten. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. And there is none like unto Him. So both these verses of Surah Isra and Surah Ikhlas indicates the concept of one and only God in Islam. And there can be none other who can be called God besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if we go by logic, if there are two gods, there would be corruption and disruption. Since two equals in power would compete for that power. We hear many stories among the Hindus, Greeks, and other polytheistic scriptures where they say gods fighting with each other just to compete for the power. And even the Quran suggests in Surah Anbiya, chapter number 21, verse number 22, وَلَوْ كَانَ فِيهِمَا آلِهَةٌ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. And if there were in the heavens and the earth gods other than Allah, لَفَسَدَتَا. There would have been disorder and confusion. فَسُبْحَانَ اللَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَرْشِ أَمَّا يَصِفُونَ. So glory be to Allah, the Lord of the throne, and He is above what we attribute to Him. Coming back to the verse of Surah Ikhlas, chapter number 112, verse number 2. Allahu Samad. The word as-Samad is difficult to translate, but it means on whom we all depend. The one when we want our questions to be answered, when we are in need of Him, and the one who is in no need of anyone. He is above us, and none can overpower Him, whether it be in status, glory, or power. And the one who is clear and free of all faults. He is the one great in glory. And that is the meaning of the word as-Samad. Great in glory, absolute and eternal. All the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are perfect and unique to Him. For example, the word ar-Rahim, the most merciful. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is merciful to the Muslims as well as to the non-Muslims. Although they are denying the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not existing. But the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are unique and perfect. So Allah is also bestowing His favors on the non-Muslims as well as the Muslims. But the justice of Allah demands that He will catch them on the hereafter for whatever they have been denying about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this world. So the word as-Samad means great in glory, absolute and eternal. And the very next verse of Surah Ikhlas, Lam yalid wa lam yulad. He begets not, nor is He begotten. Having a son implies that someone will be equal to Allah. And that is not possible for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And begetting itself is a human quality, which can never ever be given to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the last verse of Surah Ikhlas, وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. And there is none like unto Him. This last verse of Surah Ikhlas closes all the doors for other beliefs of God. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is unique in nature, and the moment you picturize or you form an image of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your mind, that very moment, that thing is not God. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not given the humans the intellect and the power to imagine or to picturize the image of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this was in short the meaning or the brief introduction of what concept of God in Islam is.
Exactly, Brother Ismail, true. So this completely nullifies the concept of shirk, as shirk is a very grievous sin. And it is obvious that even if there are two women cooking the same dish, and there would have been great confusion, even they have fights like how much chili powder should we add. So in this such petty issues, if two people together can cause a rift, so it is obvious that what kind of a confusion it could be if there were like two gods. Jazakallah khair, Brother Ismail. We would like to take a short break and we would come back shortly.